So let's just cut to the chase. Nintendo is probably going to launch the Switch sometime this holiday season, and it ended up getting delayed. So what would us Mario and Zelda nerds get to look forward to this winter? The answer is simple, but nobody saw it coming. And thus, the NES Classic Edition was born. Is it the must-have Christmas gift, or does it fall short of expectations? I'm gonna be honest, I was pretty excited to get this. I, along with everybody else my age, was never around to experience what gaming was like in the 80s. So with that said, its concept is pretty interesting, as it attempts to remodernize what was once the norm. The NES Classic is rather small, and its design is sleek for what it is. It comes with a system, a controller, the plug-in and USB port, and the HDMI cord. Along with those necessities, it also comes with 30 pre-installed games on the system since there's no cartridge slot in it. The price tag is only about $60. Is it worth it? Well, to make the answer short and sweet, yeah, there really is a lot to like about the NES Classic Edition, but at the same time, it does have its flaws. It's time for the pros and cons of the NES Classic. We'll start out with the pros because there are more good things than bad. We'll cover everything though, and I promise you that. Here's a fun little detail. I already did mention the basics of what comes bundled in the system box and all, but the instruction manual included also doubles as a really cool poster. It even features Rob the Robot. For collectors, it's a pretty neat detail. Everything else that comes in the box is pretty self-explanatory. So hey, there's a poster for you. Of course, that isn't the main course though. I mentioned that there were 30 games pre-installed in the system, and that's not an exaggeration, and that is where all the fun comes from. There really is a lot of variety here. You could play Donkey Kong, or Super Mario Bros. 3, or Castlevania, along with many other titles. Lots of classics are included within. The best thing about that being part of the $60 price tag is pretty simple. It's $60 for a system with 30 games on it. I don't know about you, but that seems like a steal. Buying each of those games on the eShop per se would amount to a lot more than $60. So in a way, yeah, you are saving a lot of money. With that many games, it's a great opportunity to test out the roots of your favorite ones. For example, I grew up on Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. Why would I not want to go experiment and see where it all started at? While you're looking for new games to try out, you'll learn that the game menu is super easy to navigate through. Also in the game menu are save slots for suspension points of games to save your progress, so that's cool. And this is obviously a given, but the small size of the system makes it somewhat easier to take places with you. Not that you would or anything, considering this is mainly a home console, but in the event you'd want to take it somewhere on vacation or to a friend's house, at least it isn't big and bulky. With all of that said, that covers the fun side of the NES Classic Edition. It's small, portable, and a great way to play a bunch of retro classics. But the system is not perfect. In fact, the only two flaws I have really stick out to me. One of these things is the controller. I get it, it's basically the NES controller but released in 2016. Yes, awesome. But maybe it would have been a better idea to make the cord, I don't know, a lot longer. It supports the same plugins as the Wii Remote Nunchuck share. That part's good, but the fact that the controller cord isn't even over probably 3 feet is somewhat irritating. Sitting just a few feet from my giant TV, worrying for the fact that I'll sit back too far and pull the thing off of the TV stand isn't a fun feeling to have while I'm playing this. It's so small and it's so light, and it's easy to pull it somewhere you don't try to. Even if you're just turning around with a controller in your hand, it could be easy to pull the thing right off the TV stand or wherever you have it. But the thing that bothered me the most was the setup for the games. The interface is nice and it's easy to navigate. That's fantastic. However, once you start playing a game, there's no way of going back to the main menu unless you essentially restart your system. The only way to do that is by hitting a button on the front side of it. This requires me to get out of my chair and go press it, or lean super far out of my chair to click it and go back to the main menu. Now, I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm super lazy or anything, but this is supposed to be a retro system. And even if they threw in one little button to get back to that main menu on the controller, that would have been a lot better, I think. Is it everything you'd hope for? That's for you to figure out. But is it worth the money? I would say so. It's a great way to have fun with family or catch up with an old game that you never picked back up, or 30 old games for that matter. And yeah, it can be somewhat cumbersome for the controllers or anything like that. However, if you get an adapter, you should be okay. But then you still have the trouble of clicking the button every time you want to go back to the main menu. But as I said, this is for you to figure out. This is just my opinion, but thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will talk to you next time.